Hello, hello, hello. Lord have mercy on my soul. Hello, hello, and hello. Okay. Get this show on the road.
In I think it was 1987, our organization, Americans for Family Values, became involved in the education issue by, at that time, fighting the implementation of what they called BABY and the State Department of Education guidelines. They called it family guidelines, but it was the teaching of masturbation and homosexuality to our children from kindergarten through 12th grade. So we organized a group from South Central Los Angeles, and we went to Sacramento, and we joined other family-minded organizations to try to fight to no avail. It was put into the system at that time, and it is just now becoming to the focus that it is with the parents taking a look at it and see what's really there. And I really don't believe, Jesse, that a lot of our parents know what really is going on in our public schools.
Say it again.
When I was preparing for the show, I spoke to parents and teachers from Crenshaw High, Manual Arts, a couple other high schools. They did not know about the program at all. They had never heard of Project 10.
Amazing.
Even some of the instructors at the school was not aware of Project 10. Why is that? How can it be there and they not know about it?
Because I believe the vast majority of the teachers and the parents in particular would protest such a program in our public schools.
Amazing.
Most of this is done underhanded, and by the time it becomes widespread or the people recognize it, is so deeply embedded, and our children have been so brainwashed, it's hard to get it out once it's in. Mm-hmm. But Project 10 was the brainstorm of a lesbian counselor at Fairfax High School in the mid or late 70s. Her name is Virginia Uribe, and what she did, she talked about the fact that she was entrusted with the care of a young girl for a weekend competition from the high school, and how it became a lesbian affair. And from that, she decided that 10% of our students were homosexual. And as such, Project 10 was born. And what they're saying is that the young people who have homosexual tendencies need to be counseled. But the fact is, the only requirement for being a director of Project 10 is to be a homosexual or sympathetic to their cause. It's not about being psychologically trained, which in my opinion, that mental health stuff, psychiatry and psychologists have ruined our public schools anyway. But the fact is, this is how it got started. And it became popularized in the San Fernando Valley. There were a lot of groups there that tried to fight it. Most notably was Edie Gibb of Parents and Students Together. And she did a fantastic job. But, in our public school system now, we have professional parent groups that thwart the will of ordinary parents who really care about what's going on with their students. And so it's very, very hard to fight.
Let me ask this. Again, tell us, what is Project 10? What is it?
I say
for those that may have missed it, what is it?
I really believe Project 10 is nothing more than a recruitment club for homosexual students, and it is to expand the homosexual movement.
And how do they determine who is homosexual or not in the school? Do they ask the students about it, or are there meetings going on? How would they determine if a child is a homosexual?
Teachers are asked to recommend students that might benefit from the program, and students are encouraged to seek out help in the program. As far as I know.
Come on out.
And I discovered that it's in all of the schools around this area. LA.
Oh, not only Project 10, we have what's called a coming out day for
What?
teachers in Los Angeles Unified School District, where teachers will
It's not
stand
oh
before
damn
their
it, I am not
classroom,
even allowed to do that. No,
kindergarten
it's
through
not a
12th grade, and announce that they're
I guess
homosexual and even
no.
bring in their mate to talk about their lifestyle. Some of them
Oh,
even
what?
wear t-shirts saying, I'm not gay, but my boyfriend is. And they stand there and they laugh and they talk about their lifestyle to encourage the young students to look at it as an alternative choice. No, I may say this,
I'm
Jesse.
the
A lot of people
police.
wonder why so many families are called
Play
dysfunctional.
carry.
Because
Yes.
parents teach morality to their children.
Yes.
Parents teach their children right from wrong. But on our school campuses, our children are taught there is no right
No.
and wrong. So the students look at the parents and wonder, well, what's wrong with them? Oh, it's a generation gap, or they're old, they don't know what they're talking about. Because their teachers and their schools are promoting this immorality. And so the parents are being looked at in a strange way, as though they're the ones that's immoral.
This program was it voted in by the school board? I don't understand how it got into the schools without the okay of the parents.
Well, again, you have what I call professional parent groups. They're your advisory councils who are paid to be into the schools.
Oh, I
Your
see.
PTA groups now, nothing more than lobbying groups. They're all political groups, and they are there to rubber stamp whatever the school district and the school board.
Okay.
I mean, they rub elbows with school board members on a daily basis. Whereas your average parent who's trying to raise their children, who are at home looking after their children, who can't be at school every day, who can't be at school board meetings every day, who are not getting paid for this kind of stuff, they're concerned about their children. Their voices are not heard because they do not have an organization behind them.
Yeah.
And so,
Amazing.
Bunked as not Trump's president, it was Obama or whatever.
Wow.
And yet he still put it up going impeachment by whatever.
But they are perfect.
In my he made some hate memes looking at
Right.
my face and stuff.
Right.
So I'm putting those on t-shirts. I'm working on it.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
I
Amazing.
saw a black guy made the hate report song. Did you see that online?
Haven't been able to listen to it closely because there's so much ruckus
He
around
played a guitar.
or a bass guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's singing a hate report.
I think that was
hate
Darren
report, a
Darren
hate
Gordon.
report. I saw it on Twitter. I said,
Yeah.
The Hate Report. Follow the
Okay,
Hate
go ahead.
Report.
So
Follow,
I
like,
was
and
busy
subscribe.
watching
My good friend.
you
From
in
the Hate
1996 interviewing
Not hate,
Izola
but hate
Foster
with a K.
when this
amazing.
news came in with and chatting with the people on your live chat on your YouTube channel.
right.
And so
Izola
I had-
Foster, by the way, was one of the pioneers of going against illegal aliens. And she
Right.
was a school teacher. And she was fighting against homosexuality back in the 90s
yeah,
when it really started becoming
Zola Foster.
apparent in the public school system.
yeah.
She
Great
was
woman.
one of the teachers who were fighting to try to stop it.
Great.
And they really went after her. They ran her out of the school, as a matter of fact. So, but she used to hold. She was one of the people I met when I first started Bond, and we used to hold all these rallies around California and Washington D.C. and other places.
In that interview, she used the term, and you may have used it too. I'm not sure. Radical homosexuals,
Radical.
and
Just have to get you-
she differentiated. Not
You have
all
no
of them
idea
are
what that
radical,
word
some
means.
of them are just stuck in it. You don't want to be.
Right.
But it was interesting. It was fun
She also ran for vice president.
with Pat Buchanan.
Yeah, she ran.
What's going
as
on?
president
What
with
is
Pat
going
Buchanan. And
on?
I introduced her at the convention to announce
The
that
ladies
she was running
and
for vice president.
Nice.
Boys
Back in
and
the 90s.
girls.
Probably more I think it was for the year 2000.
Huh?
It was for the year 2000.
Oh, yes.
Election 2000.
Pat Buchanan ran for president.
Yeah.
I don't
Speaking of
know if
president.
she's dead.
Yeah. According to Wikipedia, she
How you
died
feel about
on
the
May
impeachment?
22nd, 2018.
Amazing.
Questions?
Mhm.
Answers?
And no one said anything about it.
Ask me
And this lady
questions.
was just a pioneer. She ran for president, vice president. I mean, not president, but vice president and everything. She's black.
Yeah.
But it went kind of unnoticed when she died
At least, yeah. I didn't really. I recognized the name, you know,
because
I
she
wasn't-
was a conservative. That's why it went
Yeah.
unnoticed.
Yep.
Questions.
Yeah,
True.
that's right.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So this impeachment thing, my roommate burst into my room and he's James, they impeached Trump today.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
um,
Impeachment.
and then I got a call from another guy who said, "Please, can you please explain for like the young people that this doesn't mean that Trump
It's
Trump
out
is
of
gone.
office. Right.
He's not leaving.
Y'all don't understand
Just-
how law works.
Yeah,
Government. They're finally getting education. They're going home saying, "Mom,
When
we
I was-
impeached him.
I was what,
We won."
17 or so?
No, we gotta take. They gotta take that to the Senate,
Yeah.
and then the Senate is Republican.
7 years.
You tell me
Yeah.
who's gonna stay in office.
Back when I was mature.
He's gonna be the only president that got impeached.
And I
Yeah,
remember seeing like impeached in like all big letters in the LA Times.
it'd be amazing.
Used to get at that point.
You have
this was
small
during Bill
victories.
Clinton's second term, though. He was already
Right.
Big loss. Small victories.
Yeah,
Gigantic
2 years
loss.
before he finished.
Landslide.
right.
And he ended up finishing.
I'd rather have
Yeah.
He finished his term as and
small
now, like,
losses
today,
and
he's, like, more
gigantic
popular.
big victories.
Well, not to maybe not today,
Tell me
but a few
what you
years
know.
ago, several years ago, he was more popular than anybody.
Yeah, the liberals love him.
Yeah.
The women
Exactly.
loved him too, even though he
the woman
had sex with that woman under the desk.
under
Yeah, I
the
mean,
desk.
he
sex
was
with that
still
woman
like, I
under the
even
desk.
kind of liked him. He was like charming or whatever. And
Yeah.
I had a sister who worked in the
Sucked his dick
education
under
thing,
the desk.
and he and Arnold Schwarzenegger or something came in, flew in a helicopter to this school, and she was all starstruck.
Amazing.
So it's even though she didn't, she thought that he was evil, but he was so likable, and so I think the same thing could happen with Trump, except that Trump is not guilty of anything.
Yeah,
Clinton was guilty of
anything.
perjury.
Yeah, it's amazing
He
that.
was guilty of that. Is it true that it wasn't really like partisan? Like there was a mix of Republicans
sure.
and Democrats.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I think so.
Compared to this one.
This is the first time that it's been like party line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But 3 Democrats didn't
Amazing.
vote with them,
Right.
or 3.5. But I think that Trump is gonna end up being
Ouch.
revered, especially by the sane people, and then of course he's gonna be hated by the evil people.
No
Kind
matter
of
what.
like Anita Hill. Anita
Right.
Hill really totally tried to smear
Right.
Justice Clarence Thomas.
Yeah.
Only good justice in her,
Yeah.
including the 2 that Trump appointed. I mean, they're okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people still think of her as a heroine. People still
Heroine.
revere her as
Of a
a
him.
positive person.
Amazing. The evil people.
Yeah.
Because she represents evil. So
The
they
children
have to
of their
love her.
mouth.
There's this women's
Yeah.
club that I was talking about, and they have her as like one of the historical.
Amazing. It's so nice to see evil out front like that, though. So that the people who have a hard time seeing the evil can see what it look like. A lot of people do. I called my uncle last night, and he is a liberal Democrat to the core. He didn't even know what was happening.
Right.
He's like, "Oh, they're doing it tonight." And he normally watch CNN and all that, but he didn't know what was even happening.
It's been dragging so long.
Yeah,
He's turned off.
Nothing coming.
yeah, it turned off him, and he's like for the Democrats.
I had friends and family calling me. They're like, "Wow, this is." And I'm just like inside going like, "But if only they really knew."
I know.
Yes. We got to fake like we're not
What did you say, Joe?
supporters just
I didn't
because
watch
they come
but
to
I
us.
seen the tweet this morning, and I just thought it was like it's crazy. 'cause
I
all
watched
this
the
stuff
whole
that they
thing.
did, you know,
I was at work
now
tuning in,
everybody-
came home, watched, finished it.
Kind of bashing and all that stuff. But there's always like little
It
subtleties
was crazy.
that his team does that blows everything out the water. Like for example, this tweet, it's like so perfect to say, in reality they're not after you.
Right.
They're not after me, they're after you, but I'm just in a way.
Yeah,
It's like those little subtlety things that throw in that just throw off everything.
that's the truth, and the truth will always overcome the lie.
Exactly.
If you just live it and do it, it will always. You're right about that. It's like everything they try, the president come back with something that make them look stupid.
But what's even crazier is that they do this whole impeachment thing. Like they're
Get you
they're
one.
like, sleeping to get this, get the
Oh,
president
yeah.
out, but then he just throws a little tweet. And
The following,
you know what I
yeah.
mean?
They got all these layers.
Right.
They got this. They're trying to make this bulletproof argument, but really, all you need is one line of truth.
Yeah,
One
it's
line.
amazing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Truth will defeat the lie if you just
100%.
stand for it and just be it. It's amazing.
Okay.
It is like everything else they've been doing all these years. It's just one evil thing after another, and nothing is working for them. Likewise, the impeachment thing is not going to work either. It's not even. And now Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to send it to the Senate.
Apparently, she's
What?
trying to hold it back. Well,
Did you hear about that?
No,
some
I didn't
reporter
hear about
even asked. Some reporter said, "Okay, but wait." So he wanted to get a clear answer, right? He's just like, "Okay, but can you guarantee that you're going to send the articles of impeachment?" Which is what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
And she's like,
For the
"You're asking, you're asking me if I'm going to play in the snow." What are you, you crazy bat? What are you saying?
I'm glad you didn't say something else. With a B.
Hey, I got some sense.
Uh, she's like, I don't know. We got to hold on to it for a minute. We got to do this. Isn't that amazing?
Uh-huh.
Because as soon as she sent it to the Senate, it's in the trash. Go through the garbage in the trash.
Yeah.
It's amazing. These are fine times, though, because I think the world is waking up.
right.
Because these people truly living the life of truth.
Truly.
They like living it out. And you can really see it. It's like he opened up the gates of hell. All his little demons just flew out.
All this
Imagine-
little thing.
This doesn't prove to you that evil exists. I don't know what.
I'm telling you.
You know?
That's right. I saw a little bit of it last night, not a lot, but I saw all those black evil representatives. They
Yeah.
were just nasty.
Nice. It's dirty. Nice.
Doing okay, I guess.
What's wrong with you?
Really, like partisan. Like there was a mix of
I'm not
Republicans
sure.
and Democrats.
That's a good
Yeah,
question.
I think so.
Yeah.
This is the first time that it's been like party line.
Yeah.
Yeah. But 3 Democrats didn't vote with them.
Right.
Or 3.5. But yeah, I think that Trump is gonna end up being revered, especially by the sane people, and then of course he's gonna be hated by the evil people.
No matter
Kind of
what.
like Anita Hill. Anita Hill really totally tried to smear Justice
Yeah.
Clarence Thomas,
Yeah.
the only good justice in our
Yeah.
including the 2 that Trump appointed. They're okay. And people still think of her as a heroine. People still revere her as a person.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Because she represents evil, so they have to love their own.
There's this women's club that I was talking about. They have her as like one of the historical figures.
It's still
Amazing.
women's club.
Um,
We have men's clubs too.
it's just it's so nice to see.
Women be screaming on the top of
You're
their
thinking
lungs.
About it. Yeah. First of all,
Hell
it was
no,
clean.
it's
And then I was thinking, I was like, aren't you allowed to like, say, like, it's not being
Trust me, I
you're allowed
found
to
out.
Say you've seen the hearings, you've been watching the hearings and all that. You're in the Senate. You're allowed to make a decision.
Yeah.
You're saying what you're going to do.
I was older than him.
Yeah.
7
Yeah,
years.
back then.
Yeah. Back when I was mature.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing like impeached in like all big letters in the LA Times, which we
Wow.
used to get. Point.
This was during Bill Clinton's second term, though. He was already
Right, and it's towards
That's the difference.
it was
Second time.
2 years
They're gonna
before he
fix it.
finished up.
Oh, my man.
right.
And he ended up finishing his
Yeah.
He finished his term and now like today he's like more popular. Well,
wanted to get a clear answer. right?
Cool
He's
as
just like,
shit.
okay, but can you guarantee that you're going to send the articles of
We all
impeachment
love
to the
Prince.
Senate? Which is what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you're asking me if I'm going to play in the snow. What are you crazy bat? What are you saying?
I didn't say the other stuff. Right.
Hey, I got some sense.
You crazy bitch.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know. We got to hold on to it for a minute. We got to do this. Isn't that amazing?
Uh-huh.
Because as soon as she sent it to the Senate, it's in the trash. They go through the garbage in the trash.
Yeah.
So they got to
It's
do the
amazing.
trash.
These are fine times, though, because I think the world is waking up. Because these people truly living the life of Satan. They're living it out. so you can really see it. It's like he opened up the gates of hell. All his
little
demons
demons
flew out.
coming out. Wee!
Can you imagine that?
Mm.
This doesn't prove to you that you I don't know what.
I'm telling you.
I'm telling you.
Right. I
We started drawing
so
Solomon's
I really
keys on the
never got
ground.
hang out, but I
Instead of
saw all
watching
the black evil
Jesus come
represented.
out the ground.
They were just nasty and dirty looking. They love going after the white man, so all of them are just horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know how the blacks vote for any of them, but I do know because most of the blacks can't see. But how you vote for the
This is
witch of the
crazy.
West and that nasty Sheila Jackson Lee looked like an old nasty witch.
Walking cigarette.
She looked like
Walking cigarette.
like she tried to be a man, but it didn't work.
Who?
Sheila Jackson Lee.
The first.
That nasty woman from Texas, and then those black men that were on it.
Yeah, did
Yeah.
you see? Did you see Al Green with his picture of that crying girl that Time magazine used, which was debunked as not Trump's president, it was Obama or whatever.
Wow.
And yet he still put it up. Going,
We are making.
But they are a perfect example of why black people still suffer though because they serve evil. And then they all try to
that's him. That's him with
They're
the
just screaming on the
he still uses it. He doesn't care. Black people don't care about being evil. Really, they just literally love evil.
boat.
And in evil, we know that the representatives are evil and lying.
It's
and
actually
betraying.
true.
They still don't
Actually
care.
true.
They're gonna vote for them anyway.
You have no
They
idea.
even
Actually,
mentioned that guy that died recently. What did she say about the North Star and him?
Elijah Cummings.
Yeah, what she
Elijah Cummings and that North Star.
Yeah, okay. So
You there?
after she went out, so she did a little.
I'm gonna get a lot of flack on that one.
Nancy Pelosi, right?
Okay.
She's talking about the Democrats and their moral courage, and I.
Draining the swamp.
Anyways, before all that, she invokes Elijah Cummings' name. She's talking
Draining
about
the
North
swamp.
Star and how he would be happy with what's going on.
We had that.
Yeah, we
Draining
do.
the swamp.
Play 3D, Joe.
Fleshing out all the bullshit.
3D,
Whatever you want to call
Our
it.
beloved Chairman Elijah Cummings and
Let's
Oversight
get
Committee Chair, our North Star, said when announcing his support for this action, quote, "When the history books are written about this tumultuous
Like
era,
the Hindenburg.
I want them to show that I was among
Lady
those
Bob.
in the House of Representatives who stood up to lawlessness and tyranny." He also said, almost prophetically, "When we are dancing with the angels, the question will be, what did we do to make sure we kept our democracy intact?" Elijah, as you know, has since passed on. Now he is dancing.
Get up. Come on,
He
man.
danced- That's him, huh? He dancing with the angels from hell.
That's what she meant.
He looking up there.
Tell me again.
Yeah.
Return with dignity, health care, money, generation, property, land.
It's funny how
He
they
dancing with Satan.
suddenly they're Christians. Suddenly they're all.
See, at least our party
This is
promotes
why
buying
people know
land,
that it's easy to
buying
deceive
property,
Christians
owning
because
your
all they do
business.
is act
not working
phony
for the
like
rest
a
of your life and then
Christian,
you
and the
die with a
Christians
fucked
suck
up
it up.
time.
Oh yeah, that's a
Owning your
Christian.
business.
Because the
Being
real
professional.
Christians who want to be Christians don't really know what it is to be a
And
Christian.
we live in a
They
republic.
think that anyone who believes Jesus is a Christian.
Give at you for not mentioning Jesus enough.
Right.
JPM's
Yeah.
Jesus permission.
Dear life. Dear life.
It's funny if Elijah coming
Coming.
is looking at the North Star, remind me to go to the east one.
To the east.
Yeah, the East Star.
Shit, the devil lives in the north. Read your Bibles.
Elijah's over there with his demons.
Nice.
Elijah was he was
With his demons.
in a city that was just all hell all the time.
Satan lives in the north
I know.
as he sits on that high throne.
This woman is so nasty.
They're not angels.
It's amazing they can pretend it though.
She looks like
Some of the
And
north
then
star.
when they announced impeachment, the Democrats were about to applaud, and they're like, "No,
Yeah.
we got to fool the Christians.
yeah, yeah,
We have that."
yeah. We do have that.
Oh, it's
It's
funny.
it's
Tell me again.
She had been saying for
Say
weeks
that.
coming up that we're going to be prayerful, sad, somber impeachment. She's been saying that for weeks, and
Right.
she even wore this like funeral black dress.
Exactly.
Here's that sound bite.
Somber.
Vote, the yeas are 230, the nays are 197, present is 1. Article 1 is adopted.
Wow. Amazing.
The question is our adoption of Article
They're
2.
going off on the
Those
floor.
Republicans in the House.
He's saying that, like, no, don't do that. We got to fool the Christians.
She gestured like
Yeah, she like her
Yeah.
face. She's like,
reminded me of my mom.
Amazing. They're so phony.
yeah, they were celebrating before the impeachment.
Even Nancy Pelosi had to do this.
Hearings were over. Ship's team
You
was
have
spotted at a
obligation
bar. They were
to
cheering
abide
each
by
other
full.
multiple times.
We had that.
I don't have that.
We know
okay.
people.
Amazing.
So what does this impeachment thing actually mean?
Nothing.
It just
So it
means
goes on. People online were asking what's next to. Like it goes on to the Senate. That was in the House of Representatives, and then it goes on to
Yes.
the Senate where they are going to have a trial and blah blah blah. And then they'll decide whether to, because this is basically they're charging him with
Right.
obstruction of justice, no, obstruction of Congress and whatever abuse of power.
Yeah.
So they're charging him in the House, and then in this, it's kind of like the cops charge you, and then the judge and jury decide whether to convict you and kick you out of office. That's what the Senate is, and that'll happen maybe in January or something like that, depending on if Nancy Pelosi lets it go.
Yeah.
She
I've
might
heard,
want to savor this.
I've heard Democrats criticize this, but I've also heard even conservatives say this. They've said this about Arnold saying that he's not an impartial judge, that he's going to vote no and all that. They're like, oh, but you're supposed to be impartial. And, but I was
You're
just
not.
thinking about it. Yeah, first of all, the ones claiming that they aren't. And then I was thinking, I was like, aren't you allowed to like say you like it's not being impartial. You're allowed to say you've seen the hearings, you've been watching the hearings and all that. You're in the Senate. You're allowed to make a decision.
Yeah.
You're saying
Right.
what you're going to do. I don't think
No. By the way, Dave, you're a homegrown Christian, right?
Right.
Oh, so that you know, folks, so that you would know is that it's supposed to go, nothing going to happen, right? It's just a bunch of angry Democrats. But they're supposed to send it to the Senate. And because there are more Republicans in the Senate than there are in Congress, going in the trash because it's not real. And the Republicans know it's not real. And so nothing's going to happen. The president is still out there seriously campaigning. More money. They're making money now. Like now they're going north.
Now they going north.
All the Republicans hopefully will take over both houses again. And under President Trump, they'll be able to do something.
he's going to be the first president, and he's going to be the first president to be reelected for presidency after
Amazing.
Right.
happened.
The
Right.
very first one to be reelected.
For the
After
record,
impeachment.
so young people
For the
don't
record.
worry, relax. We still have the great white hope. Nothing has happened. It's just it was a bad party. That's all.
I wonder if they're gonna dress it up to where it seems more than what it is.
Oh yeah.
They'll do this
Yeah.
for years.
Because
They're
even
gonna
now,
play up the fact that only 2 other presidents have ever been impeached.
yeah, and
Yeah.
even now the media, the liberal media, children of the rock are saying, "Ain't on the president." They all saying the same thing.
It's a stand on the Democrats.
Yeah, but they're trying to pretend it's one on the president.
Yeah.
The East Star is another name for Jesus, right? Back in the ancient days.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Morning Star. The Morning Star
Yeah.
rising in the east.
Yeah.
Ah.
There's another name for Jesus.
Homegrown Christian.
I'll rest my case.
There was one black
Right,
president
he's
that
not
wasn't
Jesus.
as bad as the others.
See, that morning star was Christ.
I never heard
Christ.
read or heard
That morning star was the spirit of Christ going across the
who was their
heaven.
advertisement from whomever, right?
and the wise men had got a message. The 3 wise men got a message that it was a morning star rising in the east.
Conservatives are starting to fight back.
That Eastern star.
One day at a time. But you can go to jlptalk.com and find all the ways to support us. You can check out rebuildingdemand.com and support our nonprofit organization. And call 800
Eastern Star rising in
And
the
don't forget
west.
to like, subscribe,
What west?
follow, share,
This west.
and Sunny. And also
And Sunny.
thefallerstate.tv. Ring the bell.
And also join on Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny. Rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Building young men as entrepreneurs and owners of business and profit. Now that's fast.
So as you know, my experts are here and discussing this phony actors on the stage Democrats last night. No such thing as impeachment. We should find another name to use for it without even impeachment because it wasn't an impeachment at all. It really, because the man did nothing. They found him.
Say what now?
Nothing. And yet they tried to pretend that they did. Here's the president's response to the so-called impeachment via Twitter. Nick mentioned this earlier. Trump tweeted.
I'm impeached, but I'm sitting in the White House with my feet kicked back.
In reality,
In reality,
they are not after me.
No.
They're after you.
thank you.
Just in the way.
Thank you.
And he is so
Right.
about that.
Right.
He's right about it. And Nancy Pelosi is considering withholding articles of impeachment. Here's that soundbite.
What is that?
Considering withholding articles. I wonder why. Don't you know it's bullshit? They don't even think they're gonna get it by the time you get it.
Well,
Like shit.
again, we'll
Oh, we
decide
gotta.
what that dynamic is.
It's not even a dynamic. Bitch, you just said
I'm not,
Right.
that would have been our intention, but we'll see what happens over there.
that doesn't even make sense.
That is
Just
not,
yes.
you're asking me, are we all gonna go out and play in the snow? That has not been part of our conversation.
Shut up, Satan.
Right.
What does it even mean?
Right. That doesn't make literally makes no sense. They just asking all you want to do. You said you're gonna do. You made all this hype about this, about that.
Standing there and she's leading them.
I know.
Beta
Did you see their faces too?
Yeah, they look like weak and pathetic.
They're being sad and somber on this very sad and somber day.
You know, if they have
Why
wives,
hotter?
their wives are controlling them to the max. Breitbart is reporting that Democrats celebrated after the so-called
Say
sad
what?
and somber impeachment of President Trump. The House Democrats clapped and celebrated after they passed 2 articles of impeachment
Hey, what?
against President Trump, despite House Speaker Nancy Pelosi reportedly telling them not to. Here's that soundbite.
Here's that soundbite.
This vote, the yeas are 230, the nays are 197, present is 1. Article 1 is adopted. The question is on adopting
Oh,
Article 2.
For the people listening, she lifted up her hand when she had a paper, and then she did it like she's
Yeah.
Meaning what?
like don't.
They're not
Cut it
supposed to be celebrating. They're supposed to be pretend to be Christians and sad. They're
meaning that
supposed to act
She started to hear some clapping, and
right.
then she waved her hand like a
Like, let's
zip.
be, let's
No
be
comment.
classy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had a plan not to applaud, so they could act sad and somber and
Right.
but they were yeah.
Politico even reported, and this is left-leaning liberals. Politico even reported that when yelled out, "Yay!"
That's what it was. Amazing.
Amazing.
And here's Breitbart. Pelosi said she could not be prouder of moral courage.
Moral courage.
a great day for the Constitution of the United
Work my
States.
elbow up.
A sad one for America that the president's reckless activities necessitated our having to introduce articles of impeachment. I just want to say before yielding to the chairman that I could not be prouder or more inspired than by the moral courage of the House Democrats.
With that Maxine Waters on the end,
At the end,
she looked like the dark demon in the corner.
They finally caved to her. She's been saying impeach 45.
Impeach 45.
Yeah, because
didn't call him
majority
10,
of the
call him
people
45.
taking over
Like a
the
robot.
government are black people and,
Yeah.
and foreigner color folks. And the whites are not going to be able to deal with them.
Colored.
They want is what the liberal whites got to go along with.
Exactly.
Otherwise, they'll call them racist and they'll be out of there.
Racist.
So that's why they did what black people.
Yeah.
They had no other choice because white people are afraid of blacks.
And Al Green, Congressman Al Green,
Afraid
has
of
been
black.
introducing articles of impeachment
Yeah.
ever since Trump fired Comey.
And as they take over the government, these things will be happening because the whites are afraid. Even with that so-called reparation thing, that's going to eventually happen
Yeah,
as these blacks and others take over the government because the white people are not going to stand against it.
right.
The Democrats are not going to stand against it.
Against
As long as they rule, then they're going to get. That's why we're going to end up with South Africa. Mommy Africa.
Mommy Africa.
Because they're taking over the government and whites on both sides.
Mommy
are afraid.
Africa. He had to shut that one up.
You said that?
My man.
You guys disagree with that?
So you can see it happening.
Yeah, it's happening. It's totally happening.
And the whites come up with all kinds of excuses to make it look like it's reasonable. And so do the intellectual blacks. But
came to them to the point of like political suicide. Like
Yeah.
most of the voter base has been saying, "Oh, you guys are going too left."
Yeah.
Most even Democratic voters are unhappy with them. Yet they'll cave to Al Green, Maxine Waters, like.
And it's right on.
Well,
they don't realize that they're caving.
Oh,
they know it. How they don't realize they're caving? It's painful to cave. You have to feel the pain of caving.
Right.
Like with men, weak men marry these women.
Right.
No, they-
It's called
And they become
it's called
boys, the women become mama.
Yeah.
They know the wife is beating and controlling them, and they don't know how to get out of it. But they feel the pain of control.
What kind of
But intellectuals will convince themselves that it's not. They have to
Really?
rely on this stupid fake whistleblower that came out of the CIA.
They never did show him, right?
No,
He doesn't
Or her.
exist.
Right, her.
Chiaramello said it.
Exactly.
who?
That's the one that's supposed to have heard Trump say the thing about it.
Well, he didn't even hear it.
Right.
He just heard somebody
And
talk
he was
about
like a worker, right? A staffer or something.
it. Yeah, he didn't belong there.
No, I was just saying to this is what James was making, but to me it seems like it's still caving, even though you disagree with it, you don't know anything about it. You still cave. You still
I know this nigga.
telling to the other people.
Even if you
Nothing's
convince
being
yourself.
done. Even though you know it's wrong, if nothing's being done and you're not doing anything about it, you're caving. Yeah.
That's what all the rhinos have been doing to the Democrats, caving to them, and the Democrats have been caving to the
Yeah.
SJWs.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just the worse you are, the more that direction you're going to go.
It's crazy
Mhm.
because one of the callers made a point the other day, called in and said that even how silly the stuff people say, even though it seems so silly to you, you're like, oh, don't worry about it, it's silly. It won't last. If you don't deal with that, it still has an effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You have to deal with it.
You got to deal with it. I wonder if white people see on both sides, the children of the lie and the children of the truth, do they see South Africa happening? It's like getting into a relationship, not seeing what you're getting into, what you're after you're into, right? But this is so apparent. Look like they should see what's happening. It's like I try to tell the white haters of the Jews, don't hate. And if you doubt me, look at what's happening with black folks who hate. Over the years, they only got worse. They ain't got better. And so I'm telling the whites, don't hate the Jews. Even if you disagree with them, you can disagree and all that, but don't hate because you're going to end up in destruction.
I think some of them think that they have to hate them and have to like troll and
Wow.
push
Wow.
their thing, force people to force
Amazing.
their saying into other people's platforms because they're panicking. they're in like a panic mode
Ooh,
over what they see going on. The whites who are hating the Jews
right,
and always like trying to force you to talk about it, forcing you to talk about it, and stuff like that.
right.
I think it's kind of like when I learned how evil Obama was, and I just went on Facebook going,
Wow. Hurricane
they're doing
Katrina.
the same thing online. They're and calling in and stuff like that. They're panicking.
That's why you must be born again, so you can see injustice, you can see evil, but don't hate it. You
Yeah.
and you are when you discern it, it's like judging it. You just don't judge it with hatred. You're able to overcome it. But they are hating.
Right.
And these Democrats who are doing this to the president, that's why they keep losing, because they're doing it with hate and not with love. Yeah, amazing.
I think you make a good point though, that you always say that even though it's serious, nothing should be made a big deal.
Right.
If you made such a big deal, you feel like you gotta panic.
Nothing is a big deal. Really. To the point that you don't have to panic with anything.
Right.
Don't get pee off.
Like if you lose your wallet, let's say you place your wallet on the don't get
Dude.
pissed off again.
I need to talk
Like
about
you
this.
leave your wallet on the
Don't
table.
be pissed
you
off,
forget,
goddammit.
and then you reach for your wallet, it's not there. The first thing is to want to
You
panic.
got a stick in you.
But if you just say, "Oh, where's my
Say
wallet?"
pissed off.
It'll come to you. You remember, oh,
So
it's on the
soft.
table. See how to overcome it. Isn't that amazing?
Cunt.
So here's once again
Yeah,
where
that's
this evil witch,
Like
Nancy Pelosi,
Nancy Pelosi. Horse
the name
face.
of the dead man, he dead.
He there.
The bum that's dead and in hell, rotten,
Mm.
looking up from the north pole.
The North Star.
From the North Star.
Democrats North Star.
From the North. That's where
Elijah
that's where the devil
Their beloved
Rescue.
chairman, Elijah Cummings, an oversight committee
he
chair,
reigned in the North.
said when
on top of
announcing
Babylon.
support for this action, quote,
That's exactly what it said in the
"Principles
Bible.
are written about
Men in the
the
North ain't got nothing to do with
I
God.
want them to show
Stop,
that I was among those
They gonna use
they
gonna use Cummings and talk about the North Star. Stop. Talk about no that daggone North Star. That was set in the North.
When we are dancing with the angels,
On top
the
of a
question
mountain
will be what we did
in Babylon.
to make
The
sure
angels of
we
Satan.
kept
The
our
angels of
democracy
Satan.
intact.
And so I can sit on the North and top of Babylon and talk about me being a part of God's plan.
Looking up.
That's
He's
amazing.
looking up, dancing with the angel.
I think you could just make that claim.
amazing.
I know.
So,
She talked. It's so
Dancing
funny
with
hearing her talking about tyranny and stuff, corruption. The Tea Party was talking about Obama. They had some founded.
So this is New York Post.
Also,
As House
follow,
impeachment,
like, and subscribe.
The Great
Old
White Hope.
School Wolf,
Trump holds
Media.
defiant rally in Michigan.
another friend of mine.
The president
And-
answered
He answered
the president answered the biblical
Also-
question, by the way. Did
Please
you know that?
Yeah, I
don't
heard it.
forget.
How did he answer my biblical question? I
follow.
need the president to listen to
Black
that.
Spring was hotter.
Watching, trying to pay attention. Any little,
Another
any little,
friend
any
of
little
mine.
thing that points at him once in the show.
Yes.
But
Which is the
he said-
truth.
He was
Nothing but
talking
the
about
truth, so help you
Representative John
God.
Dingell.
You did.
You there?
When after John Dingell died, the president was with his wife, is the widow. He brought down the flags to honor him, right, to honor his death.
Right.
He's a Democrat that's dead.
Yes.
He died.
Yeah.
He there? He there? He just, he's a Democrat that's dead. He there? This nigga just went.
Here's that soundbite.
Dingle. You know Dingle from Michigan.
Oh,
Dingle.
ding dong.
Michigan. Debbie Dingle, that's a real beauty. So she calls me up like 8 months ago. Her husband was there a long time.
Right.
But I didn't give him the B treatment. I didn't give him
The
the
best
C
treatment.
or the D. I could have.
See you
Nobody would
there.
have, you know. I gave the A+ treatment.
Yeah, that's
Take down the flags. Why are you taking them down? Ex-Congressman Dingle. Oh, okay. Do this, do that, do that. Rotunda, everything. I gave you everything. That's okay. I don't want anything for it. I don't need anything for anything. He calls me up. The nicest thing that's ever happened. Thank you so much. I would be so thrilled. Looking down, he'd be so thrilled. Thank you so much. Sir. Said, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Maybe he's looking up. I don't know.
more, yeah.
And then he threw in a little dig at the end. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's looking for them.
And the wife got mad.
The wife did not like that.
Gabby got mad.
Gabby,
She had to respond to it. Your words, President, have hurt me.
Second,
This time,
okay,
my
guns and
first
gadgets.
view
I
without
don't
my
trust
love,
you.
my love.
Thanks, bro. Guns and gadgets. Sanctuary.
Plugs it in.
Second Amendment sanctuary that I'm
I need
Second Amendment sanctuary that you
Now,
need
my
to know.
$10,000 scan tool.
If you're legal with the Second Amendment, this is where you go.
The Second Amendment sanctuary movement has moved to a new state. If you want to find out more about it, you're going to watch the next episode of Guns and Gadgets.
Guns and Gadgets, another bro of mine, good friend. It's good.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your source for Second Amendment news. Before I tell you the state, I just wanted to remind everybody that if you were looking to grab some blackout coffee today, Thursday, and tomorrow, Friday, are the last days to get your order before Christmas. So check that out. Link will be in the description. Save you some money and support the channel. The Second Amendment sanctuary that has taken over Virginia and had actually started in Illinois and other states now has moved on to the place that many thought that it would go next, Kentucky. This week, Harlan County voted to become a Second Amendment sanctuary, and it was met with zero resistance, which is fantastic because there's enough evidence to show that if given 1 inch, the tyrants will take 10 yards, and if you try to stop them, they'll just make more bad laws to try to stop whatever it is you're trying to do. See, case in point, Virginia. And that's what happened in Harlan County. Dan Mosley, who is, the title is Judge Executive, kind of like the head of the council or for the county. And he said this: anytime you see gun crimes occur, you're not seeing law-abiding citizens involved in those crimes. We don't feel that law-abiding citizens should be infringed upon. They have this right as guaranteed by the Constitution of this country. He also said that folks had seen what was going on in Virginia, and a lot of counties have done the same thing. This is good news. More people with common sense around the country are stepping up to protect what is ours, and we will not let them take it. Also, not to be outdone, Marshall County is currently working on something right now, and that ordinance would prevent the enforcement of any unconstitutional gun control. And what they said was that if enacted, county officials cannot knowingly and willingly participate in any way in the enforcement of any unlawful act as defined herein regarding personal firearms, firearms accessories, or ammunition. And that ordinance defines an unlawful act as any federal or state regulation or law that, quote, restricts an individual's constitutional right to keep and bear arms, or any regulation or law that bans, registers, or limits the lawful use of firearms, firearms accessories, or ammunition other than a fully automatic firearm, which is already regulated by federal law. Now, the county officials there have already said that they will send a draft of this document to all the other counties in hopes that they all get on board and row the boat in the same direction. And you saw what happened after Virginia pre-filed these bills that are anti-2A, anti-America. They went crazy, right? And that's what spawned the Second Amendment sanctuary movement. Well, I also want you to remember, watch that video right there, that Kentucky has already pre-filed their magazine ban and assault weapon ban. So what has happened there will be happening where you live in Kentucky. Obviously, this is great news. If you haven't heard that, that's because you haven't subscribed to Guns and Gadgets yet. Do yourself a favor. This is where we have all of the Second Amendment news, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, no matter where it happens. You'll see it right here. And I want to thank each and every one of my new viewers and my new subscribers. As of late, this channel is growing at a clip that is astonishing.
All right, fine.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric and Chad here with Iraq. Today, we've got another Gun Gripe episode for you, and we wanted to just very quickly shed a little bit of light on SB 281 here in Georgia. This is a bill that's been introduced in Georgia. Now,
pause on this one. We'll be right back after this.